Hello, everybody. This is Akram Shaban. Hope you guys are doing great. I'm here back with Versan. We're going to be watching the presidential elections today. So I hope you guys are doing great. Versan, how are you doing? How's everything?
Can't complain. I'm doing well. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you perfect.
Excellent.
Perfect.
Well, I'm doing great, man. Thank you. It's just, I mean, the world is in a very crazy state of flux, and I'm paying attention to everything. So not just the United States politicians and the elections and so forth, but I'm also watching what's going on outside of America, and I'm trying to tie everything I know about what's happening in the geopolitical landscape and the financial landscape, because remember, money is what underpins any world order, new world order even, right? And I'm
Correct.
tying it into what I'm hearing, not what I'm really being told, but what I'm hearing and what I'm seeing, and trying to make everything make sense. Okay. And it's very interesting because the upcoming election is really shaping to be one of the most significant in modern history. And that's not just because of who's on the ballot. It's because we're living in a very divided, tense world with societal fault lines deepening each and every day, man. So the stakes have never been higher.
Exactly. So yeah, there's a lot of tension here, and a lot of people just like interested in this whole thing. Of course, well, who's going to be the next president who's serving the country? So, but again, as we always also know, and the audience also know, that whenever presidential elections happen, there's a lot of things that's happening behind the scenes as well.
Of
So
course. Yeah. It's all about the money.
exactly, correct. So we'll make sure we cover on that too. But what's your predictions on the elections?
I mean, the markets have already priced a Trump victory all over the world.
Yeah.
Like, I've been listening to the one percenters talk publicly in Saudi Arabia. They just had the Institute of Technology in Saudi Arabia. You had the top leaders there: Larry Fink from BlackRock, Blackstone CEOs, Moderna, that's for the vaccines, all these people were speaking. And I'm telling you, they all openly discussed how there was the markets were pricing in a Trump victory. So technically, if you're listening to the American people, they voted for Trump, and that's the majority. See, the media uses their tools, the mainstream news, to make us look like we're a very small group when we're really larger than they would like to think. I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, the trans, right? The trans movement is less than 1% of the global population, maybe 2%. Okay. But they make us feel that it's like 50%, but it's not. So here we are having to take shit from the whole world over 2% of the population. That's an example. So I'm tying into what I see with the election. So if you listen to the election, the American people have voted, whether, they went to the ballot and did it, or they're voicing themselves online, like on X, for instance. You see a lot of Trump stuff being pushed over there. And yeah, so Trump technically won. He also won the 2020 election, but that was stolen from him. And I
Right.
don't know if we can actually say that, but those are the facts. Brunson case is coming out. Most people are going to be unaware of it until it's all being actually displayed for the audience, the public, the masses, of what has actually transpired. So Trump technically won, but this is the bullshit what we're about to watch here. And they'll
Yeah.
tell us what they want to say. That's it. You kind of go from there. So,
Right. Yeah.
what do you think?
Honestly, man, I mean, I've been saying this because I mean, they have tried twice to assassinate Trump. So I don't know. Do you think there's gonna be another attempt on Trump, especially because he's winning right now? I mean, on what we're just saying right now.
Well,
So
the way they're selling it to the people, and when I say they're selling it to people, I don't mean to demean anybody who's a Trump supporter, but they're basically making the masses aware, the people, that Trump is against the machine. The machine is also known as the deep state, the cabal, whatever you want to call them, Ashkenazis. Okay, so it's very possible that they might try to accelerate this division.
right,
And create a situation where maybe he would be assassinated. But the end game wouldn't just be about a Trump assassination. It would more be about, like, who can we point the finger at? Can we point at Iran? Well, that's a very interesting notion, and I'll
Mm,
tell you why. Because if you go back to 2001, when we invaded Iraq under false pretenses, weapons of mass destruction, there were no weapons of mass destruction.
correct.
There were people, CIA whistleblowers, that actually came out recently, a few years ago, and they were saying that when they were in the White House with Bush and Dick Cheney, there was a file over there, and that file, it had the war for Afghanistan, it had the war for Iraq, it had the war for Iran. Now, this is what's interesting. The war for Afghanistan didn't even happen until Obama came into office. So it was planned out. Well, they
Yes.
had plans to invade Iran, and they called it the final war. What do you see them doing now? They're instigating tensions between Russia, Syria, Lebanon, and Israel and Iran. So they've already set the stage for an Iranian war.
Yes.
And I don't care what people believe, but those are the facts. And the problem in this country is that most people don't want to recognize the facts. The sad thing about it is, this is where it gets kind of what a real plot twist is, that as this awakening is going on, right? It's the very same people who put these people to sleep who are now trying to wake them up. And I find that very interesting,
Yeah.
because as this awakening is happening, it's being bent and twisted as everything is strategically being released to converge with the global landscape of geopolitics. Wow. This
Wow.
thing was planned out
Yeah.
for a long time ago, and people have no idea. It's incredible. Someone like me who researches 24/7 around the clock, I mean, it drives me crazy a little bit, but you can't just tell people this. If you do, you offend them. And it's very
Right.
sad. It's like people don't want to hear the shit, and the real stuff. And it's funny because this is what George Carlin said once, and I quote, paraphrase, there's just enough bullshit to hold things together. And he says, bullshit is the glue that binds us as a nation. And he's not wrong.
Right.
So, yeah, I think they're gonna, if something were to happen again, like an attack, it would certainly be your own deep state, your Mossad,
Yeah.
your MI6. It's called the Five Eyes intelligence agencies, because the truth is they have an agenda for a new world order. And that new world
Yes.
order requires an entirely different podcast for us to break that down. And I don't even think we can get away with it on YouTube, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah. I asked that because honestly, from what we're seeing, and also I saw that Biden said that any attempt on assassination on Trump will be an all-out war on Iran. So they're basically warning Iran, if they do anything to assassinate Trump, they're gonna go to war. So, but
Yeah.
mind you, all the assassinators who are trying to assassinate Trump were actually from BlackRock funded. So they're funded by BlackRock. So
Yeah.
they're doing the
Yeah.
same thing as like when 9/11 happened. America hit America, and then they blame it on Afghanistan to initiate a war and go to
Well, it's
war.
funny because BlackRock, I'm sorry, Larry Fink, CEO of BlackRock,
Like, yeah,
there are pictures of him and Trump hanging out together all the time in the past when he was president. And it would
mhm,
make sense. When you're president, you're going to have the top CEOs show up to your office to discuss business and, things with you. I get that. But um, it's very interesting. It really is. And there are things we don't understand just yet, but it's kind of obvious, it's really obvious. It is, I'll give you an example. And maybe this is a bit far fetched for, your everyday Joe and Jane. But um, again, I think I mentioned this already. We're living in a very divided, tense world with societal fault lines that are deepening each day. So the stakes, again, have never been higher. What's interesting, though, is that while we watch the political stage, okay, you have to understand that the
yeah,
results are not only uh, it's a motivation that is part of a much larger agenda, one focused on really overhauling and accelerating the digital and financial infrastructure. And for years, it's really those people with the influence that have used the division tactics and destabilization as tools to really consolidate power and to expand control over the systems that we rely on. And it's very clear that the political, economic, and societal tensions are not just unfortunate byproducts of today's political landscape. They are catalysts that are designed to drive a broader and deeper agenda. This agenda is basically rooted in breaking down the existing structures, which aim to pretty much create conditions where global organizations like the United Nations can come in and they can enact and sweep reforms that would pretty much reshape the political system in general. And that's why people keep saying this is the most important election ever, but they don't understand. The irony is that many citizens remain still very uninformed about these tactics we just described here, because genuine information is constantly buried beneath shallow headlines and polarized debates like the one we're watching tonight.
Correct. Correct.
I can go
Man,
on
that
and
is,
on, but believe
that's
me, it's
spot on.
true. The whole
Yeah.
idea is, yeah, it's just to keep people distracted, because the
Mm.
real game is about remaking the financial system with a digital backbone.
Yes. 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 Because I mean, regardless, like I mean, the people are watching right now. Like, regardless who gets into office, they have one agenda and they have to fulfill the agenda, regardless who gets elected. They don't. They don't. They can't do whatever they want. There are strings attached to them, and they're getting pulled. So
I mean, if they have to throw their own people under the bus
they have to.
just
Yeah.
to protect the real game, they're going to do it. Believe me.
You're right.
I've seen
Yeah.
it before. I don't have words to describe what I've witnessed in my life anymore. And, many people will say I'm full of shit and I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I disagree. And the reason I say this is because I grew up on the other side of the world. I see what you guys have not seen. You grew up with me in the Middle East. And I remember
Yes.
when I was a kid, that, my stepmother, Dad, she would grab me and she would say, Versan, come here, and hold me on the couch. And I was young. I didn't understand what was going on. And you remember the Palestinian president at the time was saying publicly, he was scared and he was shaking. It was so sad to see. And I didn't
Yeah.
understand it. But he was saying, like, the CIA is trying to kill me. They're trying to take over the whole country. They want to take over the whole world. He was saying these things. Then 1 week later, he was dead.
Yeah.
The CIA killed him. And guess what? They said that Israel got him or something like that. So
I
he
mean,
was poisoned.
I can
He was
definitely
poisoned.
confirm that. Yeah, I can confirm that because, dude, I'm blood wise. I'm blood Palestinian. I'm Palestinian. I'm just
Yeah.
born. I'm born here, but I've been known exactly the of course the president back then when he was there and he was shaking like you said. That was all I can confirm. That was all true because they know that these CIA, FBI, and especially the Zionists are in that plan to take over the Middle East, especially.
You got to be careful with the term Zionist. Try not to say it again.
Okay.
Just because YouTube, they're very strict on that. Remember, I got banned for a week just for having my guests say something true, something that's
Yeah.
factual. So, you got to be very careful. But
But
yeah,
yeah, they're just it was inevitable, and what they did, they successfully, of course, they divide and control, conquer, and that's what they did. They divided and they attacked and they conquered, especially the Middle East right now. The Middle East is all divided. So
yeah, yeah, and for the crypto guys out there, I
yeah,
mean, this nowhere is this ever been more apparent that the shift towards digital assets like Bitcoin, XRP, and other just blockchain technologies. People have to understand that as this presidential selection is actually taking place, it's designed to help us enter an era where our financial systems are basically moving digital. Okay. And
right.
with these technologies playing a very key role, for instance, like Bitcoin, its status as digital gold, I think it's a joke. Okay.
Yeah,
Bitcoin will do its thing. High fees and scalability issues. The more when Trump gets into office, if he does successfully, he was supposed to remove, for instance, Gary Gensler, right? A lot of
yeah,
people are asking me, well, he's the Bitcoin president. Okay, well, take it very slow. See how this would play out if Trump actually did get in office successfully by the end of next few days, right? Or I'm sorry, January something. And he would remove Gary Gensler. Heston Pierce would take over in the SEC. Bitcoin will certainly skyrocket as a result of this, including tonight. If Trump gets good news, Bitcoin price could certainly hit like 80,000, maybe. Okay. And I'm just speculating. But if these things were to take off and Gary Gensler were removed and Heston Pierce was put into place, what would happen is that all these assets would be kind of free to do their own thing to a degree, but then the real scalability issues will be addressed. Like the whole mainstream will be focused on it. Like, damn, we cannot scale things up because of Tether. There's stability issues, there's scalability issues. So all these things start to come to light. You see
Right.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Naturally playing out as if Trump took office. And then the whole idea is pretty much to get the regulatory scrutiny out, and create a situation where more money starts to naturally flow into something like XRP. Remember, Ripple, right, is working with the governments, the regulators, the central banks, the banks and financial institutions. It's not about the retail market. They don't give a shit about us. Okay.
Right.
So naturally, as these things occur with a Trump presidency, money would naturally flow out of Bitcoin and Ethereum and Solana, like they already are with Solana, with the first ledger. Since the
Yes.
XRP ledger started building the first ledger, more money is moving out of Solana and coming to the XRP ledger. You think that's a coincidence? No, it's not.
No.
So imagine when Trump gets in there and things are able to flow naturally as they would without the SEC's enforcement regulation, right? Money will just naturally flow out of those assets and go into something that is more scalable, faster, cheaper, carbon neutral, et cetera, et cetera. And it would go into XRP, not to mention the institutional use case there. So
Yes. Yeah.
if you're going to end the war, and that ties us into the broader narrative, ending the war is really what Trump wants to do. It's going to have to work around the dollar, the US dollar. And again, that's what XRP does. It is a bridge currency to where it can actually result in us avoiding a nuclear war, avoiding World War III, because it solves the damn problem,
Exactly.
right? Because the problem is sanctions. The problem is the dollar. The problem is the US corrupt government. But then again, Trump also said anyone that challenges the dollar, he'll do something to them. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, and that's
Right.
what's actually
So,
happening right now. There's a big
yeah,
threat to the dollar, so they're just
yeah, yeah,
oh,
yeah,
there's a
yeah.
threat to the dollar. Okay, we're gonna cause commotions. We're gonna cause wars. We're gonna cause mass murder on innocent people.
Genocide. That's all
Genocide.
wars are bankers' wars, man. And when
Yeah,
I say all wars are bankers' wars, I mean they're currency wars. Okay, majority like when we invaded Libya and Hillary Clinton, that
yeah.
Hillary Clinton. um, yeah, they destabilized the whole Middle East, and they created all these terrorist organizations. All right, we're not going to go too down the rabbit hole just yet.
Yeah.
But they created all these terrorist organizations. They funded them too. They created the divisions of Sunni and Shia. That wasn't there when I was growing
Sunan
up.
Shia. Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. They
Sunan
created
Shia.
these divisions within divisions of a country we know nothing about, because Americans are really clueless to the most part. They don't even know what the hell's happening in their own country. So it's kind of funny, from a very sick perspective, like what I would have. I have a weird sense of humor. I laugh at these kind of things because it's like, how does not anyone see this, right? But they don't see it because this is their program. They're indoctrinated, and you go
Right.
back in history. This MK Ultra has been going on and on and
Yeah.
on, and
But
since
I want to
Trump,
ask you something,
yeah.
and I want your thought on it. And now, of course, as a president, does Trump actually have power to remove Gary Gensler?
I know a lot of debate about that, but listen, if a president is supposed to be the CEO of America, get it? He's supposed to be the
Yeah.
one who decides anything. If he wants to blow someone up with a drone, he can do it. If he can order a nuclear strike, he can do it. Then what the hell is going to stop him from removing
But
one piece of shit from the SEC?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, I ask that because here's the thing: Gary Gensler is put in by, I don't want to mention their name again, but the people who are hiding behind the Republican and the Democratic Party.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Okay. All
yeah,
right.
they are the ones who put him in, and now, of course, Trump and presidents just in general can't do anything until they say so. Okay, you can't pull
It's all
strings.
a
You can't do
game. It's all
certain
a game,
things.
Akram. It's all a game.
Yeah, yeah, of course. But I mean, who plays the who has the biggest hand in the game is the ones
The
who are
president. No, it's the president. Yes, it's the
okay.
president, man. Listen, Gary Gensler, who is he? Okay, besides being an MIT professor who openly talked about XRP as a bridge currency, etc. Um, Gary Gensler is trying to get the treasury job. That's what he wanted. Okay, he wanted a treasury position, which
Yeah,
required him to bend the knee to some of the banks. Okay, he works with Senator Warren, some of the other senators, not just her, Maxine Waters, and a few others. Okay, who you don't hear about, but I see their faces all the time, and they play both sides, man. But he works for the Senate Banking Committee. The Senate Banking Committee, including Senator Warren, Maxine, and a few others, they represent Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, which ties us into the larger, you know, Z movement. Okay.
yeah.
That's what we'll call it. We'll call it the Z movement. You know
The
what I'm
Z
talking about.
movement.
The Z movement. Yeah. It's the
Yes.
only thing we use with Z, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's like if he gets in office and he plays the role he wants to, he can remove anyone. He could abolish the deep state. He could do what he wants, and I hope he can. But they're not going to go down without a fight. But at the same time, he said things in the past that make me wonder.
Yeah.
And again, the people who are supporting him, everyone loves Tucker Carlson. Example,
Mm.
false idols. They look at these people like false idols, bro. They really do. It's so sad. Um, these are the very same people who put them to sleep once, long time ago. Maybe not Trump, but some of the others. See, they wanted to keep Trump with a very clean slate, so you can't blame him for anything. See what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Everyone says there's not one piece of evidence on Trump. Sure, maybe there isn't, but around the people he's surrounding himself with now, like Elon Musk is pushing for a transhumanism agenda very quietly and very smart and very
Yeah.
slowly, and he's playing both sides. How
Yeah.
stupid are people? They can't see that? Okay, great. And I've done research into his father, which they try to make him look estranged to. His father worked for the Rothschilds banking dynasty. His mother is an elitist Satanist from Hollywood. Go look at her magazines. Go look at her Instagram page.
Yeah.
No one,
I've seen
the
it.
information is public, but people don't want to acknowledge it because either they don't have time, they don't know where to look, or they want to acknowledge what they want to believe. So that way they're convinced that they're on the right side of history, when really the truth is they're on the wrong side for both parties. Um, so going back to SEC, uh, Gary Gensler works for the banks. He's protecting the banks. That's the ETHgate scandal. I used to talk about this in
Yeah.
2022. They're putting out a documentary which I was excluded from, even though they're using all my insights. It's
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah. Yeah. I've seen it.
I
Yeah.
should
Yeah.
have been on that documentary anyways. That's a fact, guys. Um, yeah.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
I talked about this openly in 2022. ETHgate was really Gary Gensler protecting the banks so that way they can buy time to open doors in the digital infrastructure for communist China. At the same time, they could open the doors for some of the people who wanted to replicate something like XRP to where they can still have some control. But
Yeah.
XRP kind of eliminates the whole, it disrupts the whole industry. And that's why they're being sued. So there's much bigger things going on besides the very basic surface level discussion we're having here.
Yeah.
Can Trump remove him? Absolutely. Will he?
Okay.
That's a whole different question.
This
You see what
whole
I
yeah.
mean? And we don't
Yeah.
know.
Okay, okay. Okay. So like when you said like if Trump can do whatever he wants, he can change things and stuff and
He's the
remove.
president, of course.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what the
I know,
president can do.
but isn't
Yeah,
that
he
a
can never
threat to the
impeach.
people? But isn't that also a threat to the people who are behind and pulling the strings? Like, hey,
Yeah,
who
yeah,
the fuck do you think you are? We can dismember you just like Saddam Hussein if you do
yes,
certain things you're not supposed to.
yes,
So
yes.
yeah,
Mhm. Listen, this is a very methodically, carefully orchestrated game that's being played, and very few people in the world can see through it. Um, and this video will never see the light of day, for example, because it's the truth. See, people don't share the truth. Because they don't know it. That's number one. But two, they only share the truth that they believe is true. or the narrative that they've convinced themselves and sold to others as truth, right?
Right.
So yeah, this will never see a light of day, but it's true. You know, people don't think
Yeah.
very critically for themselves, Akram. They have to look towards other people to say, well, how should I think? How should I feel? And I keep telling my friends, like, you'll never be you, independent, critical thinker, until you start thinking for you. And
Exactly.
when you think for you, you look at everything we're talking about here and you see the bullshit, is what I'm saying. So
Exactly.
you can walk a horse to the water, but you can't make him
Mm.
drink it. And I've tried so hard to educate people. Very few people understand where I'm coming from, what I see, what I'm talking about, and I've proven most of it to be accurate so far. Maybe not on the political spectrum. In fact, this is the first podcast I'm doing that's gone this long for a political scenario, right? So,
Right.
mm,
Yeah, I want to also add something because just for the audience watching and listening, um, any president that comes up and there's votings and there's rallies. They're just so you guys know they're bought by billionaires and politicians, and they're just elected. They're selected.
most are, but not maybe not Trump. There's no trace of that, but
Well, yeah. I mean,
it's still, I know what you mean. But see, the fact that
yeah,
Trump is a multi-billionaire, he doesn't need to be bought off. He could play that role of not being bought off, being the first guy who never needed lobbyists, for instance, or donors, right? He can get away with that because he's a billionaire.
right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Of course. But if he's selected, or like if he's not selected, then yeah. Yeah, he can fund his own rallies and own self, of course, because everything he's doing in all the rallies, of course, any presidential rallies are, of course, funded. There's money to promote the president and gain the most votes. So, but yeah, I'm actually I'm trying to see where are they live right now? Are they live for the presidential election right
Yeah,
now?
yeah, the whole thing is happening right now. And let me tell you something for the Trumpers out there. Okay. They might like this actually. Look
Yeah,
at these numbers, 40% to 58%. It's rigged already. It really
yeah,
is. Because
yeah.
the truth is, who the hell is she? She didn't even exist until a few months ago as far as a primary candidate. Um, she had all this money and support. Look at this. See, 57? Nonsense. It's not real. It's not true
Yeah,
either. So for the Trumpers out there, Trump did win. He already did, and they stole the election before. But see, and
right.
again, this is what news outlet is this?
Yeah.
India
Oh,
Today.
did
See?
you think when Biden stopped being, of course, stopped rallying and stuff, and Kamala went in? Did they actually just convert all the Biden votes into Kamala's? Like,
They
okay, yeah,
can't.
she's gonna. Okay,
I mean, he might say, sorry, he might say, hey guys, I encourage you to vote for Camilla. But if you want to really like go deeper into the political situation, Biden was thrown out by his own people.
yeah,
Obama stabbed him in the back. So
mm,
Biden should still be in the race, but he would naturally lose to Trump. You see what I mean?
yes,
But Obama basically stabbed him in the back and put the puppet out there, Camilla,
yes,
who is a border czar. She's evil. She's Marxist, demonic. And that's not even a stretch. She's involved in the loss of about 400,000 children. Where are the children? Where have they gone? These are questions people need to be asking, and they are asking those questions. So I applaud them for that. Um, these are things that really did happen too. You see what I mean?
yeah,
So it's a really deep game. It really is. But if people believe that, like, fight for freedom, this is all about the same thing. And I don't want to go too far off the edge there, but um, Biden cannot just tell his voters to go vote for Camilla. I don't think he's even done that, but actually he has. What am I saying? But
yeah. I want to
it's
ask you
like
something.
nobody wants Camilla. It's the truth.
Yeah,
And
it is.
again,
It
go
is.
back to what I said in the beginning. The American people have voted through their tone, their ballots, their messages, what you see on X. I mean, there's no doubt that it is a very demonic party.
Yeah.
They care about taking away all your freedom. They want to take your weapons away. They want to destroy the Constitution. This is called the Cloward Piven strategy. We teach this stuff at Black Swan Capitalist. We explain to people how this happens, why it happens, what's the intent. And it goes back to what I said in the beginning. They want to collapse the current political infrastructure by creating divide and conquer situations so that somebody like the UN can come in and do political reform. That's how you get a one world government. You understand?
Yeah.
Um, it's a
No.
very complex issue, but this has been going on forever. So I believe that we are just watching the show, literally. So
Man, because I want to right now just see how this is all gonna fall into place, and especially what's going on with crypto and
yeah,
central
yeah,
banks, and of course because in my previous video I've covered the project Agora, and yeah, they said, but from the BIS they have to go live in 2025
yeah,
with this. So now, of course, there's other things that are happening behind the elections for tonight, and especially central banks news that is going on in crypto.
yeah. I
So
guarantee it. I bet right now that some of the bigger stories are coming out that nobody's paying attention to because everyone's watching this, including us.
yeah,
Um, I'll probably
yeah,
find out about it as soon as we're done with this call. But yeah, um,
of course,
the central banks, they recently lowered interest
yeah,
rates. That means they're just going to print more money, and printing more money creates a situation where currency devaluation occurs, which means your currency becomes worthless more. So it becomes cheaper and cheaper to borrow that
yeah,
money, but the rate of inflation, because we keep issuing cheap money, and what they're doing is buying up everything that we're having to sell because we can't afford to keep up with the inflation because they keep printing the damn money. The solution to all of this is a gold backed currency. We have to have some gold backing. And a lot of people out there have talked about Trump being a president who wants to do the reform of the central bank. In such a situation, you would need
yeah,
something like XRP, like stable coins issued on the XRP ledger, to where you can back these stable coins by physical assets. And now you might have some sort of solution. So
yeah,
it's very interesting, but the central banks are doing the same thing. They're going to strengthen the dollar. It's going to require them to lower more interest rates closer to November, maybe the end of this month. We'll see.
the most concerning thing right now is if we're going to war or not.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
I mean, I can go religiously here, especially where it quotes in the Quran, like there has to be a war. That it's a big sign for Judgment Day. I mean, we're getting closer by the minute, and I know the religious people out there, the more war, the more commotion, the more divide, the more distorted and divided minds from societies and people. There's of course an end to life. So that's what I'm saying. I'm saying like if it's gonna be a World War III is going to happen or not.
World War III already started. It really started um, like the green light when we put sanctions on Russia. That triggered it.
Yeah,
Yeah. And people can sugarcoat it all they want and say it started longer before that. I wouldn't be surprised. I think this was really planned out methodically. People don't understand how smart these people are. They're not stupid. They
mhm.
look stupid. Maybe they say stupid things, but no, they're very smart, and they're following a very ancient code. And it's true. There is a deep state,
There's, yeah.
and they're playing both sides. That's where it gets funny and ironic. It's just no one sees it.
Yeah, they did it with World War I, World War II. They buy both sides.
Yeah, they talk about changing the country. I mean,
Yeah,
listen, I want to see positive change, but don't tell me to change the fucking country when you haven't even changed yourself. Come on, all right? It's like people who say climate change. Okay, we're
right.
gonna save the world. We're gonna save the world. You can't even save yourself. You can't
Yeah,
even take care of each other. You're gonna save the world. That's arrogance. I'm sorry. You know,
Yes. Yeah.
people are so full of shit. It's not even funny, but it is funny. You know, for someone like
Exactly.
me, it's hilarious. Yeah, I watch these people go back and forth and bicker all day and night, and
That,
my
I mean,
question
that's
is
true.
like,
Like,
what are
yeah,
your priorities? You know, it's like, what are you focused on? Like me, I understand the game, and I'm profiting on it. I make money on both sides. I invest in different things. I diversify my portfolio because I know how this is playing out in real time, and because of that, I'm able to take care of myself. I'm able to take care of my loved ones in the future. So
exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm a finance guy. I'm really good at what I do. Everything else is really just noise, but I'm good at breaking down the noise. Okay. People love to sugarcoat the truth, man. They depend on it. Again, like
Yeah.
George Carlin said, it's the bullshit they need. It's the glue holds them together. So
And I have research that confirms what everything we've been saying. So
I have research that confirms it too. It's just I don't have the energy or time to share it with everybody.
yeah, 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 of
There's so
course.
many
But
things I want to put on the podcast. I just don't have time to do it. You know,
yeah,
people have to
yeah,
book a session with me because my time is valuable. And
right.
yeah, I'll certainly prepare them for what's coming. But you know,
There's
CBDCs are
there's a
inevitable.
yeah, there's a topic we haven't been speaking about is of course the reevaluation of precious metals. And
Could happen.
yes, so of course I've been looking at the prices of precious metals, and it's really crazy how that growth within 2 years. Because I mean, last time when I bought an ounce was like 1,800 per ounce of gold. Right now it's 2,700 or 800 right now. So in just 2 years at that price, it's insane. So we're seeing a really close to our reevaluation of precious metals.
I mean, it's
And
very possible. It could take a while actually,
it
because
might take, yeah, it might take a while. Yes, of course. But with digitization of currencies and the currency changes, and America, of course, trying to catch up with CBDC technologies, and of course, digital dollar, there's going to be a lot of reevaluation of gold and precious
it's
metals, of course.
possible.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
I would phrase it a bit differently because first thing we have to look at is okay, all central banks are buying gold. All right.
yes,
They're not buying gold because it's shiny. All right. They're buying gold because there's so much pressure on the debt market in the United States. Remember,
right,
the US dollar is the global reserve currency, and our debt market is really on the brink of collapse, but they're going to keep expanding it. I'm not saying it's going to blow up, but because of this, the risk associated with being in trading in
yeah, yeah,
dollars, sorry, they're buying gold to protect themselves, to hedge themselves because they know what is coming. It is inevitable. I don't care how long America tries to drag it on.
yeah,
It's going to collapse one day. Every bubble bursts eventually. Okay.
correct.
And you can profit from the bubble. No doubt. I have. You have too. I hope.
Yeah, I
And
do. Yeah,
everybody out here. But I mean, there was a point when I was buying 2-year treasuries, you know. I don't do that anymore because
yeah.
we look at the debt. Do you know why we have debt? It's because we never pay it to
We never
begin with.
pay it.
So why the hell would you buy the bonds? Because they're never going to pay you anyways. That's why it keeps getting bigger. We have
Actually,
debt because we don't pay our debt, right?
yeah,
So other countries in the world right now are actually selling their debt. They're selling their US treasuries, their bonds, and somebody's buying them, but no one knows who's buying them. It's the
mm,
central bank of the United States. Well, hey, people say, no, no, it would be on the balance sheet. Well, it's not on the balance sheet. Interesting. Well, Tether just issued a billion USDT.
yeah,
Tether publicly has announced that their best friend is the US government. Tether publicly has announced that they are the largest buyers of US bonds.
bonds.
So, as other countries are selling off their bonds for the inevitable collapse of the debt market, they're using Tether to buy those bonds and issue Tether tokens, and they prop up Bitcoin. So, Bitcoin,
Yeah,
when the bond market fails, and it will fail, Tether fails, Bitcoin fails, or Bitcoin dramatically comes back down. They're so interconnected. People are clueless.
yeah,
I've been trying to reveal this for 4 years, man. And I have been closer and closer and closer and closer without getting any credit for it. And that's fine. But I'm early. I'm just not wrong. My
No.
point, though, what does this have to do with gold? That's
Yeah.
why central banks are buying gold. They know the inevitable is coming. And interestingly, the majority of the gold buying, even though the US is still buying gold as well, but they're not telling it, they're not touting it for two reasons. Middle Eastern countries, Eastern countries are buying up majority of the gold because price controls. We've been manipulating the gold price forever, and the silver, by the way, and the
Right.
COMEX. We're
Yes.
manipulating all the metals because we can go to war by keeping it low and cheap. And more countries are
Wow.
not trading in gold, they're trading in bonds. You see what I mean? In Forex.
Yes. Yes.
So they're manipulating. The price controls are shifting to the east. That's why majority of the Eastern countries are buying all the gold.
Yeah.
So that's why the price of gold is going up significantly. Mark Cuban was telling people they're fucking morons for buying gold. He said, "You're a fucking idiot if you buy gold." Look at it. It doubled.
That's
I was buying
stupid.
gold since 1500.
What
Some
the
people were
fuck?
buying it earlier, but yeah, I've
He
I've
just, he
quadrupled
just
my
wants people out.
no. This is the other part, what people don't know about. So the United States Central Bank is also buying gold. They're also investing in blockchain, the technologies. This is all over the world. They're investing in the same things and they're
Yeah.
buying the same things while they're telling the public to go do something else. So what they're trying to do, and Senator Warren made this a bill recently, basically, if the banks fail, who holds the bags of the bonds so the government doesn't fail? The American people.
The American people.
And guess what? The same people who are telling you this are buying gold, they're buying XRP, they're buying other things too. You see?
Exactly.
People are they're clueless. They don't know what the hell is going on because they don't read. They read headlines and the headline sets the mood for the whole article that they don't even have to read it. They crop it and they use AI to
Yeah.
tweet some stupid shit about it and there you go. All right? That's what 90% of the people on X are doing and YouTube. They're
Right.
reporting a YouTube video on tweets is not news. Now, some people do it covering the smart people. That's different. You might get away with it. Okay. I give you credit for that. But when you're covering all these idiots out there who don't know what the hell they're talking about, you got a big fucking problem because you're spreading information that's not factual and not accurate.
Yeah.
And you're giving them maybe some truth, fragments of facts, but they're missing the bigger picture. They don't
Yes.
understand what's going on. The
Wow.
trap is being set. The groundwork has been laid out. The stage is set. They're just waiting for something. And that's why I called myself Black Swan Capitalist. Because when the Black Swan hits, and you're not going to expect it, could be a banking collapse that systemically cascades into other banks and collapses all of them, where CBDC is inevitable or some shit like that.
Yeah.
That's one example. A war, nuclear bomb going off. Whenever a Black Swan happens, I'll profit. I'll capitalize on it because I'm ready,
Right.
because I understand. That's why we called ourselves Black Swan Capitalists. We capitalize on bad news because we know what the hell's going on. We're expecting it.
Man, that's great because yeah, Black Swan Capitalist is just like that. Yeah, we
True.
capitalized on Black Swan events, and that's how it is throughout the whole years.
That's what the
You know,
richest people in the world do. The richest people in the world, they knew 9/11 was coming. They
yeah,
planned it, by the way.
yeah,
And guess what? They made billions on it. I didn't plan anything. I saw what they were planning and I positioned myself. And when their plan is executed, they made billions, and so will I. That's the way I'm looking at
that's
things.
the game
So
is played. Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
prepared, guys.
yeah.
And this is what
I'm
I do.
prepared.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, because like the people who are not prepared, they're the ones who are afraid that something's gonna hit them because they're not prepared for the Black Swan. The people who are prepared, just like us, and hopefully the audience as well who's watching, we won't be worried what Black Swan event will happen because we're positioned at the right place, we're positioned at the right time to
Mm.
capitalize on it.
Capitalize, sure, but I still will be concerned if a black swan happens
I
because
mean,
that affects
yes,
all of us. I know what you mean, though. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah. Of course, of course.
yeah.
I
Like
mean,
this week
yeah.
I invested in a $599 Starlink. Um, it's a portable Wi-Fi thing, right? It's
Mm,
$599. I didn't have to buy it. I bought it because if the power does go out, or we get a cyber attack. That's what the World Economic Forum is telling us for
Yeah. Oh yeah.
a year and a half now. They always tell us, and then it happens. Have you noticed
Cyber
that?
attack.
Right.
Yeah.
They told us about the vaccines. I don't know if I should say that, but they told us about, the thing that was coming, and it came. I didn't think it would come, but it did. That's when I really understood. I was like, okay, so what we're researching is not wrong. It's just they're strategically staging everything. So,
Yeah.
and hey, if Trump really gets in there and things turn around and he fixes everything, I see what the end game is, digital. All right. So this doesn't ever happen again. For
Yeah.
instance, like voter fraud. We don't want voter fraud to happen ever again. We need digital IDs. Problem, reaction, solution. You see what I mean?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. It's like, you know, so anyways, this Wi-Fi thing, if the power goes out, I can just point this stupid thing to the sky and come on, Elon, give me some internet.
Come on, give me some internet.
That's it. And then I can
You
make
think
my
it's
crypto and get out.
that satellite thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
I just bought one, so it's coming in soon. So
That's good. That's good.
that's an
Yeah. I
example.
mean,
What are your priorities? Like I'm preparing because I think some things are inevitable. I might be wrong. I bought food 4 years ago that's still hanging out. I have to, give it to the homeless and replenish it. Of course, it doesn't expire, right? I'm not
yeah.
an
Of
asshole,
course.
but I'm always prepared, always. And I ask all my friends, and I ask your listeners and my listeners too, what are your priorities? I care about my family. I care about my future. I care about your future, Habibi. You know,
Oh, yeah, man. Of
I don't
course.
I don't care about the present, guys. I'm in the present. I'm always
Yeah.
aware, but I'm planning for my future because the world is very uncertain.
Well, at the time, like at a time like this right now, we need each other. Especially, of course,
Community.
like yeah, we do really need each other. We need to meet, like you said, kindness and being
Yeah.
together. One hand doesn't clap, so we need everybody's hands. Especially like hopefully like the audience also who's watching as well. They're doing good and they're prepared for these kind of events. And I don't want to see people just in miserable moments in their lives when it comes to these Black Swan events. But yeah, of course, as family, if we have to look out for each other, especially the audience as well, audience families. I know there's a lot of of course, division between families,
Yeah,
but
it's very sad.
we
That's what
need
the
love. We
pandemic
need
did.
love. Love is the answer. Honestly, we don't have no power. It's just a voice and love, and that's what is the most powerful thing that we have currently.
Yeah,
So
amen. Because see, they depend on us being divided. All right. If they can divide us, they don't like love in this world. That's why we're always divided and fighting amongst each other over the
yeah,
stupidest shit ever. Can you believe it?
yeah,
Um, it's because when there's love in the world, we are, we're beings of energy. We really are. Um, and we procreate energy too. We have energy we give off energy. All right. We have a magnetic field. Many people will understand what I'm talking about here. But this magnetic field is being bombarded with hatred and anger, and it's destroying us as beings, spiritual beings. All right. We're losing the edge. We cannot let them win. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to destabilize what it means to be a human, how to
yeah.
critically think for yourself, how to feel for yourself. Feelings, right? Social media has taken feelings away from the whole damn picture. It really has. When you go meet a woman now or a man, it's not the same. It's not the same
It's
because
not.
people have de- they've lost their dignity. And that's not their fault. I'm not blaming people, but to a degree you can blame people because these threats are constantly being thrown at us as propaganda. Like what we're watching here, this is so stupid. I want to turn this shit off because it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
And I know I got it right back there.
It's not going anywhere, man.
I'm not going anywhere, right? I'm going to be seeing this all day tomorrow.
Oh
But,
my god.
as spiritual beings, man, we need to come together. We need to harness that energy. We need to raise our vibrations, our magnetic fields, and give off love. They hate it because they know they can't control us if we are loving. It's
Correct.
crazy, man. We live in such a complex world that when you look at money and crypto, XRP, okay, societal issues, they go right under the rug, man. Doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
Money is just a tool to keep us in line. Money is the very tool to bring out a new order, a new world order, if you want. It's a way
True.
to keep people in line. Very simple.
True.
But no, people are materialistic. They have this disgusting consumer behavior that they want and need things that they don't need. And it's because they're trying to fill a hole in their heart, a gap, a black hole. They want to fill it with a Louis Vuitton
Yeah.
bag,
Yeah.
Mercedes Benz. You know, I used to have two
Mhm.
Audis, man. I've taught myself how to be minimal. I've taught myself what it means to want less, even though I can afford it. I just don't care
Yeah.
because my mind is focusing on my relationship with God, my relationship with myself, who I am. What
What's
are
your
your
purpose?
priorities? Yeah.
Yeah.
What are your priorities? Are you really going to get sucked into all the bullshit with everybody else? Or are you just going to remain human, independent, critical thinker for thyself? That's on you.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah. They keep saying like, "Oh, I'm an independent person. I can do whatever, and I don't need a person to guide me. I know what I'm doing. I'm independent." But in the same thing, at the same time, like they're
Every
not all that.
man needs a woman and every woman needs a man. It takes two to tango.
Exactly.
See, opposites attract. And I say opposites as in the sexes too. A man needs a woman needs a man. We are being taught that we don't need each other. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's working, by the way,
Man,
successfully. All
that
right.
is so
That's
fucked up,
that's on
bro.
you. You know, I one day I will find love again like I had, and it will be very beautiful and spontaneous, and there will be chemistry, and I'll be a happy person. You know, I believe in that stuff, man. I believe in a time and place for everything as well. There are so many positive things we can look at
Right.
besides just this election, and you know, it's about who we are as a people, as a species, as humanity. We are a family, and we have to remain a family because if not, we're going to lose everything. We really will. That
Exactly.
is the real war, not Trump and Kamala.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's all noise. It's all noise.
it's all noise. Yeah,
It's all noise.
I like noise too, but hey, I like to turn it down every now and then.
Yeah.
Filter out. You know.
Filter out a little bit. Yeah, because there's a lot of things that are important. But yeah.
See, unfiltered journalist.
Dude, I want to get that shirt. It's insane.
Unfiltered journalist. Unfiltered perspective.
From the perspective, yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
So, anyways, I hope your audience enjoyed this, but
Oh, of course.
we
Yeah.
I mean we could pull up the whole election thing, but it's just
I want
let me
the
show you
audience
something
to
real quick.
like, yeah, watch it or like if I don't know if they went live or
No, I'll explain something. So right now what they're going through is every state. And
oh, okay.
listen, for the last 3 days every state has been it's been rigged, okay? I'm not
Yep.
going to go in circles, but look 45%, 54%. There's no way in hell that even in one state that she's 45% for real. You know what I mean? It's all made up because she didn't even exist until like a few months ago. And she was a vice president who did a shit job and lost children. God knows where they are. That's my question.
Wow, yeah.
And she's been funded by George Soros, by Obama, by the Clintons. People don't even know what she's done. Go do your research. It's not hard to find anymore. A lot of stuff has been revealed. And I've known about this for years. I didn't know there was a time and place to talk about it. And we can't talk about it on YouTube, unfortunately, but I can tell you some very scary stories about these people, each of
Yeah.
them individually,
Yeah. Yeah.
what
Yeah.
they've done and who they are, where they come from. I
Yeah.
read for a living, man. I'm a very big history buff. I have to know what the hell happened so I can understand where we are, so I can understand where we're going.
Yeah,
That's just how I do
I've
my
been
research.
also, yeah, I've been also on that too. Like especially like researching. Like all I do is right now is read and research and
It's
dig,
important.
like really, yeah, that like really dig deep into what's really going on, and like, yeah, documents and stuff. So
Well, yeah. I mean, a lot of the stuff has been out and about for a long time. It's just,
yeah,
when my friends were going out to like parties and stuff, I chose once in a while to go out and have fun, but I chose most of the time to research because I thought maybe I could build a foundation for myself. And it turns out I was right. I built a foundation for myself. A little bit of work can really get you far, man.
correct.
And I mean real work, guys.
Yeah,
But at the same time, I feel like I'm doing something right, righteousness. And that really
righteous.
sticks with me. So it's like I'm helping a lot of people get off the ground financially. I'm telling people, teaching people what they can do to prepare for the future, what's coming, right? This
Correct.
is good. It's healthy.
Yeah,
So it's not just a way for me to speak and talk about these things, but I feel like I'm doing something good for other people. And I'm always thinking about other people. You know this better than anyone.
yeah.
I'm helping so many people, even in the crypto space with their channels. I'm going out my way to help other people with their SEO. I don't
Dude,
have
I mean, you helped me. You helped me. I didn't even, because I don't like to be publicly known and face and the audience, but I learned to accept it, and I can't be selfish with what I know, and I need to share what I know, and I need to share what I've been researching.
My
So
point though, yeah,
yeah,
is
yeah,
like
yeah.
I help people like scale up their channels. I help people scale up their podcasts. I taught people how to podcast because I want them to contribute value that they have, but in a different way by spreading the message. And it's funny because these people are growing so fast and
Yeah,
I don't need them to mention me, but I was there in the beginning and most people will never know. My point though is that I go out my way to help other people always. That's what it's about. I used to be a very selfish person. Not anymore. I'm always thinking about other people before myself. And sometimes I feel like it's kind of selfish for me to do that because I deteriorate my own health. I deteriorate my own, what I want to do with my life. But hey, it's very important. It makes me feel good. And that's why I do
exactly,
it. So,
exactly.
mhm.
I mean, especially like as of like, because we're Muslims, it's good to of course it's good to guide people and help people, because that's what the Quran really says. The Quran is just to guide people to the right path, you
Yeah.
know.
And it's
and
not just the
and
Quran,
yeah,
the
yeah, of
Bible
course, yeah,
too.
yeah,
We got to speak for the listeners too. It's just a
yeah, I know,
lot of
I know,
stuff about scripture.
I know.
But
Yeah,
yeah, we're taught to love Jesus Christ as well. We're not taught to like hate anybody from different world, different place, different religion. We're taught to love.
we're taught, raised to
America,
love.
yeah, America has a very distorted view on what the Middle East is all about and what the religion is all about. The whole Sunni and
Mm,
Shia thing was created by the Mossad. Yeah.
correct,
And
correct.
it goes way back, guys. I can tell you about this on another podcast, but we'll save that for a net later. Okay.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
Hmm.
But yeah, I just want to, because I'm trying to know when they're gonna be starting with.
I don't know, man. I'm not waiting any. We'll find out tomorrow. At least we
We'll
got the
find out tomorrow.
information out there. Let people hear
Exactly.
this, and we'll see what happens tomorrow, and we'll talk about it probably on Monday, and we can do something on your show next week if you'd like. We'll
Okay.
see. Let's
Yeah.
just see what happens, guys. Okay. So
No problem. Well, we'll conclude this video for now and this podcast. Versan, thank you for having, giving me your time here. It's fun. It's great, and the audience needs it. So
it was a pleasure, man. Okay. Well,
yeah,
I'll talk to you later, guys, and thank you for everything. Just be mindful of what we discussed, and don't take anything personal. Okay, this was all just discussion, right? Can't hate people you disagree with.
correct, correct. And from now, thank you guys for watching. Make sure you guys take care of yourselves at times like this right now, because we definitely need love in each other. And we'll see you guys next time. All right. Take care. Peace.
Take care.